Okay, today we are going to take notes on page 113 about stuff in space. Okay, so sorry that I'm not here today. I'm at the Mother's Day tea with Iris at her preschool. Okay, so stuff in space. The first things that we are going to talk about are meteoroids, meteors, and meteorites. These really are all small rocky objects in space, and the only difference is where we find them. Okay, so they are all made of rock. They all are out in space. Meteoroids are pieces of rock that are orbiting the sun. Okay, so any object out there in space going around the sun, we call it a meteoroid. If that meteoroid runs into Earth's atmosphere, then we see it as a shooting star and we call it a meteor. You may have heard of or seen a meteor shower. That's just these chunks of rock that are in space are hitting Earth's atmosphere, and because of that friction, they are burning up, so we see them light up across the sky. And I'll show you guys a video today that shows you a cool video of when a meteor hit over Russia in 2013. Okay, so it's burning up in the atmosphere. It's a meteor. If it survives its burning up and it hits Earth's surface, then we are going to call it a meteorite. So a meteorite is a space rock that has survived its passage through the atmosphere and it hits Earth's surface. Okay, so all three of these small, rocky objects in space, names only just tell us where they are located. Okay, so asteroids are very similar to meteoroids. They're made of rock as well. They're just bigger. So an asteroid is a big meteoroid. They're made of rock. They are usually found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So we have this whole area in the solar system where we have these huge chunks of rock flying around, and it's between those inner rocky planets and those outer gas planets. It's the asteroid belt. Okay, another object that we have in space are called comets. Comets are a little different because they contain both ice and rock. These guys also orbit the sun, but they have very eccentric orbits, meaning they like come really close to the sun and then they go way far away and come back real close. And as they approach the sun, they have this tail of water vapor and dust that is always blowing away from the sun. And so some of you, if you were able to finish the stellarium assignment on last class, you saw Halley's Comet. And what's cool about comets is they have these tails behind them. And it's that water vapor coming off and dust. All right. So I said earlier we have terrestrial planets. Those are also called rocky planets. Okay, the 4 rocky planets are Mercury, closest to the sun, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And then we've got the Jovian planets. You may have also heard them called gas giants. The Jovian planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, so 8 planets in our solar system. So this is all the stuff that we're going to talk about that is in space.
Mom, my bracelet turned out to be a thing.
Okay, we are going to add some pictures of some of this stuff onto page 112 just to make sure we hopefully can remember. Okay, so on page 112, the first picture that we are going to draw is just to kind of remind us of where these different objects in space are found. So I drew Earth. And I drew a little dotted line to show us Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so if we have a rocky object from space that hits Earth's surface, that is called a meteorite here on Earth. If we have that same rocky object before it hits Earth burning up in the atmosphere, we call it a meteor. If it is just out in space, zooming around, it is a meteoroid. Asteroid, same, made of rock, it's just bigger. And then a comet is ice and dust with a really cool, beautiful tail flying behind it. Push pause if you need to get these notes onto page 112. The other picture that we are going to draw is just a quick diagram that will not, obviously not to scale. The other diagram we're going to draw, not to scale, but I do want to be sure you know the order of the planets from the sun. Okay, so here we go. So I drew a sun here on the left. The four inner rocky planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Earth and Venus are about the same size. Mercury and Mars are both smaller than these two planets. We will talk about astronomical units next week. So Earth, we say, is 1 astronomical unit away from the sun. It's the distance from the sun to the Earth. And so that we use that distance to compare a lot of stuff, how far away other things are out in space.
I did the primary color.
Beautiful. Okay, so we've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Then we've got this asteroid belt. That's where we find those big chunks of rock orbiting the sun. Then we've got Jupiter. And look, there's its big storm. Saturn with its rings. Uranus also has rings, and it actually rotates on its side, which is kind of cool. And then we've got Neptune. Okay, next week we will talk about our research project. You will be picking something in space to research, and it should be pretty fun. So thank you guys. Thanks for taking these notes today. Next, we're going to watch a video about some asteroids and meteoroids and what we can do to stop them. And I will see you all next week. Have a great day.